Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash. This is a quick little lesson. Uh, this devil, Esau, has to be stopped, man. The Lord has to put an end to this devil and to his rule. This is a Chelsea Green Publishing. This is an article I've had for a while, and I was looking through it today, and it's called "The History of Big Chemicals War on Food from 1865 to 2007." And pretty much, these devils, man, they've been at it through their wickedness, poisoning and destroying people's health, destroying animals, livestock, destroying the whole ecological cycle of this world, man. And they have to be stopped. They have to be put down. They have to be put down. They have to go into slavery, and after they pay for 1,000 years, then they have to be exterminated. It says, in the timeline below of the chemical industry's march into our food supply, Will Allen, author of The War on Bugs, answers the question, how did we get here? As Allen points out in the introduction to The War on Bugs, our food supply suffers from a toxic overdose of chemicals. As a result, our health, growth, and longevity are disastrously affected. Why would we ever think it a good idea to spray our food with poisons? Why is it such common practice now? Why is it that we have such a relaxed attitude toward chemical farming, and some of us get agitated at the idea of organic farming? Because these people have been programmed how to think and not to think. They just been programmed and everything that comes out of these people's mouth is something that they heard somewhere on a TV show or heard somebody else say. It's not something that's coming because they've done actual research, have actually looked into things. It's just something that they're repeating that somebody else said. It says, Will Allen presents this timeline to help us discern the answer of how it happened from the War on Bugs. And then these are the timeline. It starts in 1865, and they go into different potato beetles and different insects, that were destroying crops, and how they came together to like here it says 1867 Paris green, a common arsenic paint pigment. It is first used successfully by Brian Markham on the Colorado potato beetle. There are no regulations on its use at this time, and food often carries high arsenic residues. See, so that and this high residue of this arsenic enters into the food supply and then enters into the digestive system of a person when they ingest these things. Even if you're eating salads and and you're a so-called vegetarian and all that, this is harmful. I'm just gonna read a couple of these, but before I read that, I want to read this real quick. This is Ezekiel 4:13, and the Lord said, "Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them." And that's on all levels, through these chemicals, and through all the stuff that they put in cans and put in plastic and put in whatever, everything, the additives, the preservatives, everything is just defiled. And we're consuming this because, we have no other choice. Even when you eat organic and non-GMO, how do you really know it's organic and non-GMO when it's the same company that's selling the chemical shit, that's in charge of the chemical shit, that's saying that these things are organic and non-GMO? So how do you really know? We don't. That's why this thing is based off of faith, and this devil got to be stopped, man. All right, so let me go through a couple of these. Lord's will, I'll post this link, and if brothers want to go into it deeper. I'm going to jump down to where it says 1906. 1906, national concern over food adulteration results in the watered-down Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. Upton Sinclair's book, The Jungle, a description of the filthy meatpacking industry and pesticide poisoning prompt much of the public outcry. So what did they do? Because you're being sold all this messed up stuff and these chemicals, they set up a Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. Is going to be controlled by who? By the government. Who is controlled by who? By the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the banking elite. So they're the ones that control what can go into your food now and what can't. And then they're the ones that pay scientists to say, do this research, and then this whatever findings you find, don't bring the truth out to the public. Hide that shit. So administration of the 1906 Act resides within the Department of Agriculture. So unfortunately, public and environmental safety issues become secondary to big agriculture's demand. So pretty much it was to regulate the business, not to regulate if it was good for you or not. And that came secondary. That was kicked to the curb. All right, let's see what's the next one on here. 1910. It says, First National Pesticide Act. The law regulates the composition of arsenic and other pesticides, not their safety. It is only a truth in advertising law. So they're not worried about if it's safe. They're worried about if it keeps their so-called food, that chemical keeps these foods protected so that they don't be destroyed by these insects or animals before they get to you. So you can consume all of them toxics and you could get sick and have to go to them to repair yourself. The next one is 1912. Federal Trade Commission is established. Pesticides and fertilizer are supposed to be regulated in the marketplace for the first time. The next one after that is 1919. It says Boston Health Department destroys arsenic contaminated apples. Though a few articles appear in the newspaper, the poisonings are mostly hidden from the general public. See, and that's what they do. And then it says Boston Health Department destroys more arsenic contaminated apples, 1920. Yeah, so it's pretty much they're not really focusing on what's really going on right here. First use of airplane as a dust cropper. And that's where you got them big ass planes dropping this pesticide and people are inhaling that shit. And then you have the chemtrails. That's more contamination. That's what the Most High said. He gonna bust this devil up. He gonna let's get that real quick. This is the book of Revelation. Revelation, chapter 11. I believe it's 11:18. Yep. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets and to the saints. And this devil needs to be put down in order for us to get to this place. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the Lord is going to destroy these devils, man. And the thing is this is being made bare. The Lord is allowing this stuff to come out. Obadiah the 6th verse is allowing this stuff to come out so that they can see, so people can see this devil's fuckery. It says Boston Health Department. I'm sorry, we're in 21 now. Boston Health Department destroys arsenic contaminated apples for the 3rd year in a row. Little news of this is leaked to the public. Yeah, because they don't want that information out there. 1929. 29 million pounds of lead arsenate and 29 million pounds of calcium arsenate are applied on food and cotton. But wait a minute, I thought they were supposed to regulate this stuff, and it shows you this is not about the safety of the public. It's about keeping the crops healthy, no matter how poison the other stuff is, but keeping our crops healthy so that the corporations can benefit, not the people. Says the American Journal of Health suggests arsenic spraying should be reduced, and then there was another year where France and Europe had said that there should be just very small amounts, 0.1 something, of arsenic, and the United States was fighting them tooth and nail. They said for like 50 years to get that removed, And these devils got to go, man. They got to go. The next one is 1933. It says Arthur Callatt and F.J. Schlink published their book 100 Million Guinea Pigs. The chapter, A Steady Diet of Arsenic and Lead, chronicles the hazards of spray residue. The book becomes a bestseller. A 15-year-old Montana girl dies from poisoning by fruit sprayed with arsenic, But all this stuff goes undercover, under wraps, because they that control the money, control the laws, and control pretty much everything else. 1938, the USDA Yearbook of Agriculture, titled Soils and Men, provides an excellent account of organic farming. Passage of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which frees the FDA from the USDA's direct control by 1940, because their thing was all about just getting legislation passed so that they can do whatever the hell they wanted to do, you know? And that's why Maya Angelou Barrow said, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." The next one is 1938. It says the USDA Yearbook of Agriculture title. Oh, sorry, I just read that one. The next one is 1940. Sir Albert Howard's book Agriculture. The FDA finally moves out from under the supervision of the Department of Agriculture. It is now placed in the Federal Service Administration. Why? So that they can go rampant and push out whatever chemicals they want. 1941. It says the Nutrition Foundation is formed by food and chemical companies to fund research into nutrition. The Nutrition Foundation is formed by food and chemical companies to fund research into nutrition. So what you think they're going to put out there? What information you think they're going to put out there? The information that they're going to put out there is the information that's beneficial to their product, not beneficial to the health of the people. You know, and that's why a lot of you Israelites are jacked up, you know. You know, we all have health issues. Why? Because of this bullshit ass food we eating, the water we drinking, the chemicals, the chemtrails, and everything else, man, in this society. And that's why the Lord got to put this devil down, man. It says agriculture in the United States becomes even more industrialized, using chemicals, mechanizations, and monoculture to increase production and feed war-torn Europe. So it's about production. It's about money. It's not about this devil is not a moral man. Esau is not a moral man. Esau is the devil, man. These Edomites, these so-called white people, they, especially the international bankers, they're not moral people. All right, so the next one is 1947. The Federal Fungicide, Insecticide, and Rodenticide Act replaces the 1910 Pesticide Act. The law, like its predecessor, regulates the synthetic organ pesticides and does not specifically address environmental or public health, because it's not about the environmental or public health. And then there's other ones when you read where it showed that animals were being their reproductive systems were being broke down by these chemicals so that they weren't able to multiply, and therefore there were less and less of these insects and animals. The Agriculture Department, USDA, administers the law but does not set up a procedure for recall of products until 1969. The USDA filed criminal proceedings only once from 1947 to 1969. Although by 1969, documented pesticide accidents had risen to 50,000 per year. The USDA investigated only 60 accidents to people and 120 to animals in 1969. Why? Because it's not about the benefit and welfare of the people or the animals or the land. It's about making money. This devil is greedy. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. The just shall live by his faith. Yeah, also because he transgressed. Yeah, we said, why would the just have to live by faith? Because it takes faith to be able to live in a fucked up society like this where your body's breaking down, you know, and we have to call upon a higher power, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Ruach HaKodesh, to deliver us and help us, man. Because otherwise, everybody would perish. Like it says here, Matthew 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now, this is dealing with 70 AD, but you can apply this also today, because the way things are going, people are just dying off, man. Whether it be through abortions, whether it be through cancers, sicknesses, and all different manner of madness, man, that could be avoided and prevented if these devils were really moral people. But they're not moral people. It's about making money. You know, and no matter how many times you bring that out, you still have a simple-minded so-called Negro or Puerto Rican or another tribe always trying to defend these fucking devils, man. Going back, the growth hormone, DES, is approved for use in cattle by the USDA and FDA, although animal tests since 1938 had shown it to be carcinogenic. You know, and even though later on, like in the 60s or something like that, they stopped that, they're still pushing those hormones on these animals to make them grow bigger and fatter. Why? To make more goddamn money. They're injecting chicken with water and different chemicals to make it look plumper and thicker, to make meat look red. You know, it's insane, man. It's fucking insane. And then I have 1962, and it says Rachel Carson publishes Silent Spring. It is an immediate bestseller. Carson warns that excessive use of chemical pesticides is killing wildlife and damaging human health. This is the one I was speaking about. It says chemical corporations, listen to this. She published this book on how these pesticides are killing wildlife and damaging human health. Chemical corporations, the same motherfuckers that were making the chemicals to spray in these insecticides, like today you got Roundup. So these chemical corporations, right, they paid and said the American Medical Association and large-scale farmers begin an immediate and aggressive counterattack to Carson's views. Why? Because all of these people were benefiting from these pesticides and from the sickness that it was causing to people, because people had to keep going to the hospital. So the chemical corporations benefited because they were able to sell their chemicals as pesticide that was approved by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, that was also a chemical company that were all set up by these international bankers. It says the American Medical Association, which was started in the early 1900s by the Rockefellers, you know, they're making money off of it. You know, that's why they have cancer and research and all that, because they're making money off of all of that. You know, they are the devil, man. They are benefiting off of the suffering of people. It says and large-scale farmers begin an immediate and aggressive counterattack to Carson's views. Why? Because these large-scale farmers were making money selling their product, because their product they were filled and laced with these chemicals that destroying people, but they didn't give a shit about that. You know, they didn't care, but as long as they were making money, so they had to counterattack this woman and her findings and her research. You know, so I'm just gonna read this. This is Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Because to them it is nothing to do the things that they're doing. You know, it is nothing to them to kill off hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people just to make sure that their pockets are lined. They're not moral people. You fucking idiots out there, you Israelites out there that are breaking your goddamn back, twisting into goddamn pretzels to say a good, kind word about this fucking devil that don't give a fuck about you, man. When you gonna fucking wake up? Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression, and that's oppression, man. When you you have the power and the authority to ban chemicals from being sprayed on foods that are destroying people's health and destroying the animals, you have the power to say, nah, we can't put that in there. You're doing the total opposite. You paying people to come against homeopathic doctors. You're paying people to come against research that goes against these the harmful effects of these chemicals and these pesticides, you know, and instead of doing the opposite, because you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And we see you, devil. We see you, goddamn devils. 2 Corinthians 2, and you goddamn right, I'm cussing and I'm fucking pissed off. You goddamn right. You know, and the scripture says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. If you're not fucking mad, then you're not fucking wise. You're a goddamn clown and a buffoon, and what the so-called white man loves to parade in front of everybody. Look at this coon. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And we're not ignorant of his devices because Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has woken up our minds to it. All right? So going back to Psalm 73, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily because they don't think they're ever going down. You know? And here these people are suffering and they're lining their pockets, feeling good, eating the best of everything, destroying everything and everybody else. They set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth. And they tempt the Lord. They don't give a damn about that. They don't believe in the Most High. You know? That's why the prophets used to cry to the Lord, Lord, you're gonna why you keeping silent? Why you ain't destroying these damn devils? Why you ain't bringing harm and agony to these devils? Why does it seem like they're prospering? You know, if thinking about it can drive you crazy if you let it. It says, therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how does the Most High know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? They really think the Lord is that. They think the Lord is stupid. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. And how do they increase in riches? By ripping people off, by killing people off, by making people sick so that they can line their fucking pockets. When they got more money than they know what to do with. It just goes to show you that they just have a demonic vibration about them. These Edomites, you know? And you Jakes out there that's breaking your back, man, and the Most High destroy you and crush you, man, like a worm. It says, verily I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. Yeah, because when you think about it, it's like, damn, these motherfuckers doing wickedness and they're prospering. You know, we trying to do the right thing and we getting fucked up, you know, over here. But, you know, that's part of that's why the scriptures say that he that is of great understanding is slow to anger and slow to wrath. You know, we get pissed off and angry because we're being oppressed. But at the same time, you know, we know that there's nothing we could do. You know, and we have this Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai Wa Kodash and the scriptures to calm us and keep us calm and keep us steady in the right mind frame, in the right mindset. Because eventually they're gonna go down. The scriptures say that their steps shall slide in due time. Let me see if I can find that one. Let me just put the word slide, see what comes up. Yeah, Deuteronomy 32:25. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the thing that shall come upon them make haste. And they're making haste. And because the Lord, it's going to be overnight that the Lord is going to take these devils down. And the best example that we have of that is you go back to 9/11. What happened in 9/11? That shit changed the course of the world. In one fucking day, couple of hours. It changed the whole course of the world. One day, couple of hours. So the Lord is going, when the Most High opens up on these devils, he's going to really put the screws to them. You know, but he's just letting this devil go because the Most High is of great patience, man. Long suffering. You don't think the Most High wants to get down on these devils? You know, but it's just us that's here in the flesh that don't have that type of patience, you know, but we have to wait. Okay, so pretty much that's it. You know, it's been, you know, let me go back up to the top. This devil has to be stopped. This is the history of Big Chemical's war on food, 1865 to 2007. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more in here that I didn't cover, you know, and I'm sure that, you know, if brothers do get, you know, look into this, I'm sure they'll find a lot more. First genetic 1974 first genetic engineering research is proposed. You know, I'm sure you find other stuff in here that's see, look, 1979 antibiotic and hormone treated meat for the United States is banned in Europe, but it's banned in Europe and not in the United States. You know, because they had more sense. They said, nah, this ain't right. You know, but I'm sure you'll be able to find other stuff in here, you know, that is edifying. You know, and it gets deeper. You know, I mean, I just scratched the surface on some stuff. You know, so with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.